All right, what's up? Good evening. This is Kareem.
This is Ray.
This is the R&K podcast. You can find us on Twitter at R&K podcast, I think. You know what? I don't remember what the fuck I named it. Follow it_board, and I'll show you where to follow us. You can find us on our website, Board is it, BOREDASIT. Just go there. You can find us under podcast. So let's get to it. The first thing here that wanted to bring up and talk about was Senor Donald Trump.
Of course, that's easy. Everybody's doing Trump.
Yeah, but before we get into that, you know what I found that's interesting? Because I was like, I'm always looking for interesting ways to get into things. So I was reading his history, and I found out that his uncle, I can't remember his name, but his dad's brother was like a really smart guy. He tried to go into real estate with his dad, but they ended up disagreeing with a lot of stuff, and then he basically had a falling out with them and said, yeah, fuck this, I'm going to just go study engineering. So he went and studied engineering and, got degrees and accommodations and all this stuff. Like he was all the brains went to him, they say. But yeah, so I was like kind of reading the history of Trump. It's just interesting. And his dad, Fred, it was interesting.
You know what his pastor was?
Who?
You know what? Trump's the way he is about being so positive all the time.
Guy. I don't remember his name.
His name is Peel.
The
power of positive thinking.
Yeah.
He was that was the pastor of his church.
The power of positive thinking, the ultimate in arrogance.
Yep,
but that's what makes you successful.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if you want to be successful, you should not give a fuck about yourself or about anything, because no matter how much you get torn down or any of that stuff, you need to be able to, just like you see Trump do, just nope, I don't hear none of that. I heard that he gets 2 dossiers a day, 2 folders a day of just good news about him. I don't know if that's true, but anyway, so
it's all about positive thinking, man.
The first interesting thing he's did since the last time we spoke was the Russia sanctions.
I know he probably grit his teeth when he signed that one.
Yeah,
he was mad
because he also had to give up control, and he tweeted out that there was the framers of the Constitution gave the president powers over this kind of thing for a reason, and we'll find out why because we changed it. Basically, like he made like a threat, kind of, but it's weird. He's been tweeting like weird stuff, like very weird. But yeah, so he begrudgingly sanctioned Russia, and now Putin's like, man, I think he's going to be on the warpath. But thankfully, they got North Korea to distract him from, which we'll talk about next. But yeah, so I don't know what else to say really about that.
I don't know what to think about the Russians. The Russians were always like doing. I mean, back in the day when I was in the army, the Russians were it, man. They were our adversaries. They've always been our adversaries.
So you're going like back home with this.
Yeah, it's like it's like what do they call that? Back in the day, it's no big deal.
Yeah, it's like retro. Like there's what's it called? Everybody's doing flashbacks. So I guess this is just a return of Russia. There's nothing really much to say. We're sanctioning the shit out of Russia. It's not doing it's not doing them any favors, but it's pissing off Trump, and that's hilarious.
And it's not really going to be.
Yeah, it's not going to really do anything it's doing in North Korea, which again we'll talk about soon. And then the feds I was reading about, they're going through his money, like they were looking through like all his money ties and everything. And that guy, oh man, what is his name? Mueller. That guy Mueller, the head of the FBI right now. I got the utmost respect for the FBI.
What is that?
They are smart. They are smart as fuck. I'm not going to say why or how I know how smart they are, but they are smart as fuck. Even though they get fucked with, even though people's hacked them, even though things like that have happened, I give them mad props, man. For the job that they do a great job. And I like the guy that's heading it right now, Mueller. I like that they put him in charge because he doesn't give a fuck. He's just going right after Trump. He hired people. Did you hear about this? The attorneys that he hired to investigate this have over a century of experience. Okay. He has people that worked on the Watergate scandal when the Watergate case. He has people that specialize in white collar crime, like top tier people that specialize in finance crime. Lawyers that specialize in mob relations.
Oh, the RICO Act.
He's got people that specialize in like internet and communication laws and hackers and stuff like that. He's got he put together like a dream team of people to bring down somebody that could have even thought about fucking with anyone. Like if they talked to Russia, if they sneezed at Russia, they're gonna know every time they did and how long it took and what came out
Wow.
of their nose. Because they got, yeah, he put together. If he did anything, they're gonna catch him. So if he's guilty of anything illegal, it's gonna come to light. Probably within the next couple of years, I would say.
FBI, they're not stupid, man. They're not stupid.
No, and then they work now because of the Department of Justice and all that. They work with the CIA and all that shit. So they have connections to people in Russia and stuff like that where they wouldn't have had before. You know what I mean? Like it's coming together in a beautiful way to actually do its own job and hopefully bring justice. If he deserves it. Hopefully,
Right.
maybe he's clear of everything, and then we can just move past it and people can find something else to cry to him about. But
And I'm sure the Democrats, the Democrats are been kind of quiet, they to just let the what they call it, let it all play out, see how it runs.
yeah.
They got their wish. Now the Democrats are going to see and you know what? I hope he's exonerated. Just so he could just do like this under his chin and go.
It's just so like obvious, like it's too obvious.
It is, though. I mean, come on, you can't get no more obvious than this. That this is the Democrats trying to get back at him, but they do that to each other.
No, I'm not saying that.
Every time,
I'm saying that
every time. No, but so what I'm saying is this. Okay, every time there's like a Republican in office, the Democrats are trying to always come up with dirt. And then when when Obama was in there, what were the Republicans doing? They were trying to figure out every way they could to freaking just come up with some dirt on Obama.
People forget, when your team's losing, you forget. It's just, politics became like a sport in this country. I'm a big fan of they should fucking cut down the political time frame. You know what I mean? Like other countries have where you're not allowed to politic up to a certain amount. You're not allowed to run campaigns and shit too long.
Dude, he's already campaigning.
It's bullshit.
He hasn't even been in office 6 months.
And they're talking about Pence. Pence had to defend himself that he wasn't going to campaign on the next election. They're like, just relax already. Like, let him do his thing. Like, let's figure out what's going on. But anyway, we're running not short, but there's nothing really much more to say about that except they're going after him all hardcore. Then that one Navy SEAL, that transsexual Navy SEAL came out.
Don't even get me started on that. Man.
That was just funny.
I just thought it was funny. Man, even the guy, I read that article, and he was like, he goes, when he first, transgendered, and he walked out into the street, he was all worried that, people were going to make fun of him because basically he looks like a dude in a dress. And I saw his photograph, or her photograph.
Yeah.
And she's a handsome woman.
Oh, yeah.
He's like almost 6'8", 220 pounds of just muscle, and he's got a big old pair of tits that just look like a dude, man. I'm like, well,
But the interesting thing is that you have an example of what happens. Do you get what I mean? Whereas before, the last couple times that we talked about this, seems to come up a lot, but the last couple times that we talked about this, there was nobody that we could point to and say, hey, this person actually went through that. What was it like?
But he didn't.
No, I did. I read the thing.
He wasn't transgender when he was retired now, and he actually went through the surgery after he retired.
No. I read the story that he went through it while he was in, or while she was in.
He didn't receive a very good. His colleagues weren't very what do they call it? Weren't very happy about it.
No, they said that she said that the women's and were like very supportive of her.
The women, yes,
yeah,
but his team. He was part of SEAL Team 6.
Yeah,
you don't get no more macho than that.
Yeah.
Okay. Now all of a sudden he wants to be a chick. They say he said that he didn't receive very positive, feedback from his team
That's
members.
fine. Who cares?
Yeah, but
It's like I said, you have an example of somebody that went through it and it was okay, and they served and they did fine, no problems. They're out, they're okay. May not be the most attractive thing you ever seen, but hey, it's all good. It's all good. And moving on now to stupid North Korea.
Yeah,
and Kim Jong Ramalama Ding Dong.
That dude's a nut job. Did you hear what Trump said today?
No.
He said, you best not mess with America.
Oh, the fire and the fury.
Yeah, he goes, or you're gonna fear the fire and the fury, the lights nobody has ever seen. I was like, oh my god, dude. This guy's like, oh,
the hyperbole, like the hyperbole is just ridiculous. He doesn't need to say all that. We talked about this last time, and I said it doesn't matter. I mean, the only threat now is that they have the capabilities of making a nuclear warhead. You read about that, right?
Right.
Like that they finally have the capability.
And now
now.
they're talking about that they may they're estimating about 60 warheads.
30 to 60. Yeah. Some estimations are 30, some estimations are 60. So depending on what you believe, it's somewhere between 30 and 60, which is 30 to 60 too many for anybody to fucking have.
Yeah,
those things are too ridiculous.
One is just one too many.
Yeah, it's fucking retarded. But I'm not worried for us. I'm worried for South Korea.
Yeah, because that's going to be the first one.
Yeah, that's going to be the test target. The only thing is he might not do it so close because he wants the land.
Yeah, that's going to be territory that he cannot
occupy. He knows he can't hit us. We're watching him. We have boats everywhere. We have anti-aircraft, anti-missile. We can, you know what I mean? Like, our technology is way beyond what they're capable of actually reaching us with. Like, all this stuff in the news and everything is just like scare tactic shit. They're just trying to sell people on the fear.
You know what I think? I think that, there was an old guy that told me this once, an older guy, and I wonder if he's ever listening to this, but he told me this. He goes, sometimes the best thing to say is nothing. Sometimes the best thing to say is nothing.
Yeah, I think
we just ignore his dumb ass and just matter of fact, when he launches a missile, go, hey, congratulations, you lobbed it over Japan. Good job. Yeah. And just leave him alone, man. Just like, all right, forget, just ignore him. And don't give him what he wants. Whatever he's asking for, just ignore him and just make him feel like a total idiot. Like, you're just too small to even mess with.
That's kind of what we're doing. With the sanctions, that's what we do. The sanctions basically say, yeah, not only us, but everybody is not going to deal with you. We're just going to ignore you.
Not even worth
and that's what he's mad about. Response. That's what he's mad about, is that supposedly the sanctions are going to cost at least $1 billion. Which for an economy that small is crazy.
And for people who don't know, that the sanctions are they're I guess they're going to see how that country generates revenues. They sell like natural resources like iron and also what is it that they fish, like seafood. They do a lot of fishing. Yeah. And what else did they put sanctions on that they can't sell?
I don't remember.
It was iron. And
I don't
fish.
remember.
I remember those were two. There's three main ones, but that definitely is going to take. That's going to definitely take millions out of his coffer. That's
$1 billion.
Billions. Okay, billions. That's a lot of money. You can't. And so they're all butthurt about that, and they're saying, "Oh yeah, that we're messing with the sovereignty of their nation, and
they're going to nuke us,
and that's the direct threat of war, and all this stuff." It's like, shut the fuck up. It's like and you know what? And I hear that on the news. I'm like, okay, well, I'm thinking to myself, so what are you going to do about it? Yeah, that's what I feel like saying.
But that's what he's doing.
What are you going to do about it?
That's what he's trying to show. He's like, look what I can do. Look what I can do. Look what I can do. And nobody fucking cares. That's what's making him even more mad, is that nobody cares. We're just reporting on it. The news, of course, is trying to drum up fear because that's what sells.
Right.
But other than that, we have no ads to sell, so we don't fucking care. Mm-hmm. So there's nothing to be afraid of. We can disarm the nuke. If you think that we have to shoot it down, like blow it up, no. We can just disarm it. We can disarm it and have it land in the ocean. The capabilities that we have with our military and stuff like that. Like, if he shot 4 nukes right now, he could have shot 4, 10, 15 nukes already. Nobody's going to even know. They're not going to scare people. They're not going to come out and say, oh, yeah, by the way, North Korea shot 20 nukes at us tonight, so we took care of it. It would be something I would imagine that nobody would even have to hear about unless we needed to go to war and we needed to drum up, people's support for war,
right, yeah.
Which I don't know that we want to do yet. But if there's ever comes a point that we do, it's pretty easy to convince people and he's trying to nuke us.
And China's trying to keep as much distance as
Like
they can.
always. Yeah.
Like,
China
they're
don't
like, oh, we don't know that guy.
they got no dog in that fight, man. They
They're
don't
like,
care.
nah, man, I don't know this dude. I don't know,
They
he's retarded.
don't care. They're just like, fuck this. You know, like it's your problem, America. You guys deal with it.
It's like,
You're the ones
because
that
you know what?
went
It's bad
crazy.
for business. And China's all about business right now. They are trying about making money and develop their country. And right now,
Making
North
money
Korea's
and
bad for
polluting.
business. Huh?
Making money and polluting.
Exactly. They don't give a
Just
fuck.
pollute and make money.
They
Like,
just want to make money. That's all it is about. So the drama continues.
yeah, pretty much. No, so we'll see
We'll
what
just wait-
ends
we'll
up
just wait and
happening with
see.
North Korea down the line. And then yeah, so other than that, we're pretty much covered on the news. What else is
let's
going
see
on?
here. I mean,
Well, you got anything you want to talk about?
I'm thinking. You know what? I mean, I just drew a blank. I worked all day, so I just didn't have time to think about it. I mean, I already went on my tranny rampage yet last week. But I mean, that everybody knows my opinion on that. But you know what? I mean, I don't know.
How about this thing with the sanctuary cities?
Oh, don't get me started on that. Okay. You got all these. Okay, look. That's the way I look at it, man. The law is the law. Okay? You can't just make up a law. You can't just follow the laws on the ones you like and then don't follow the laws the ones you don't like. That's just not how the law works. Okay? So the law is this, okay? Federal government, right, wants at least 48 hours after the guy served his time, the illegal immigrant, if they're jailed for any reason for felony or whatever, and they give them 48 hours. They got to call them, and they give them 48 hours before they release them, so they can pick the guy or pick whoever up,
interrogate, whatever.
and then have him and deport his ass because because we're going after felons, we're going after criminals, okay, and law enforcement does not want to cooperate because they're saying, oh, it's against their values. Okay, well, values has nothing to do with the law. So basically the federal government is saying, okay, you want to do that, right? But guess what? We subsidize your law enforcement with funds, federal tax dollars. You can buy new police cars, you can buy helicopters, new weapons and stuff like that, new training. And that amounts to millions, literally hundreds of millions of dollars. We just won't pay you. We just won't fund that. And so now they're going in all these lawsuits and stuff, saying it's unconstitutional, but that's not. But I'm just saying, that's the law. It's the law. It's written that way. So how can you, as a state, I'm just saying this now, how can you as a state say, okay, I'll abide by this law, but I don't like this law because it and all they're doing is just making it into an anti-Trump thing.
No,
that's all it is.
here it is. Here's the problem. The first thing you said about us being separate laws, you're completely wrong. We're not under one rule of law. That's the whole point.
No, you got state and federal laws.
Exactly. And that's the thing, is that under state law, if the state feels like it's being more benefited by not doing this with illegal immigrants, like they deal with them on such a huge basis that keeping them housed for 42 hours would cost us way more than it's worth to even just come and bother dealing with that, then at that point, it's like, yeah, we've decided that, no, we don't want to bother with this. It's been a system perfectly fine for years until somebody brought it up, and then it became an issue. Nobody was bitching about this 2 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, and this is something that's been going on since the fucking city started. You know, it's not a new thing. Just people are finding out about it and freaking out. So yeah, we are under one federal law, but that's the whole point of being like a Republic of United States, is because we're able to follow our own rule of law if we disagree with that federal law. It's like weed. It's like the weed laws. If in California you want to smoke weed, you can. Now the feds can come and bust the people that are growing in big operations and things like that. The feds can come and bust fucking cartels and you know what I mean? Nobody's stopping them from coming in here and fucking over any kind of cartel or gangs. They can come freely. The police work with them. That's not the problem. The problem is that, just like I said, in a city the size of ours, or Chicago or New York, you know, it's mostly big cities.
Right.
The amount of effort it is to keep these people just for those 48 hours is just insane. and the cost isn't worth it. And then secondly, so what's the point of this, right? We're supposed to be together. We're supposed to be one united state. We're all supposed to be trying to help each other, right?
Right.
So the goal of them is to punish us by taking our ability to protect ourselves. This money goes to police, SWAT teams, their weapons and all that, right?
Right.
So you're publicly now telling gangs and cartels that you're going to take that money away from the city? And this is how you protect us? You fucking asshole. Like, that's not how you protect people. We're not a foreign nation. You don't attack us. You don't fuck with our infrastructure because we disagree with you. We're supposed to be able to disagree with you without the fear of your retribution being so horrible that now the Mexican mafia is going to be like, fucking California is free reign now. They ain't got no money from the federal government. The cops are underfunded and none of them give a fuck. Plus, most of us are already over there anyway. So fuck it. Now we get to go crazy. And there's still a sanctuary city. So they're going to protect us too. So on top of everything,
You know what? Okay.
it ends up just being awful for everybody involved. So why is that even on the table? That's my point. Like, why is Sessions even putting that on the table? Like, this is an option. It's not a valid option. We're not at war with our government. Not yet, but we're not at war with our government. And then the third thing, as far as it being criminals, did you hear about the pastor? This pastor guy who's been here since the 90s. He's been married to this woman for 14 years. He has a 5-year-old and a 6-year-old. And he's been trying to get legalized for 3 years now, since 2014. And every year they give him a visa. And then this year they stopped. So now they're about to deport him in front of his wife and kids. And he can't do shit about it. And he's not a criminal. He's a pastor. Never committed a crime, never been arrested, never had a problem with anybody. He just did it. And he was following the legal paperwork, which is how they found him. Because he was trying to do the right thing. And they punished him for that. So now you're saying, not only are you saying, we're going to pull the funding. You guys are supporting this being a sanctuary city, so those people are going to be protected. The good and bad now are going to be protected. And we're just deporting anybody because we just don't like them.
No, that has nothing to do with it. Now,
Then why are they deporting this guy?
if I may retort.
Yeah.
Okay. The law. Okay. So as far as, like, I guess you could say the other previous administrations have been going. You've had these what do they call it, amnesty, and all this stuff and everything like that. Okay. Well, then
Led to problems.
Yeah, that led to problems. So now you've got people that have been slacking on our immigration laws. Now these laws are already on the books. They're not some new laws that all of a sudden they're just instituting.
No.
All President Trump is saying is he's telling the immigration and customs enforcement agencies to say, look, we got laws on the books. I want you to enforce them. The guy overstayed you were talking about the pastor? He overstayed his visa. Guess what? Sorry, buddy, you gotta go. It's not like he's being rounded up because he's a felon. No, it's because if you overstay your visa, you gotta go.
But that's unreasonable.
But there's a law. There's regulations. There's
No, people
regulations.
are fucking people. Fuck the law.
See. So now what you're saying is that you follow the laws that you like and then ignore the laws you don't like.
No,
because
you
don't
punish
think
the
they're
people
fair.
that deserve it, and you don't punish the people that don't deserve it. He doesn't deserve to be punished
I'm not saying he's being punished. All he's got
for
to do.
crossing an
All he's got to
arbitrary. He's
do.
been trying for 3 years.
All he's got to do is when he goes back to Mexico, wherever they send him to, is just apply for another visa and then come back. Bada bing, bada boom, you're done. But he's trying to get residency. He's trying to get legal residency in this country, which is not. He's not applying for a visa.
Fair point.
A visa is you have to get it from your point of origin to come into the country.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He overstayed his visa. That's all. He's trying to get legal. I don't know what. Maybe he should just get an attorney to help him do that.
Yeah, get citizenship.
Get citizenship.
Fair enough.
Why? What's the problem with some of these immigrants that to become a citizen, a naturalized citizen, to take the test, to swear an oath to the United States of America? Why don't some of them do that? When I joined the Army in basic training, we had kind of two separate. I mean, yeah, they were segregated, but they were segregated for a reason. Okay, it was because they didn't speak English. But we had Army soldiers going through basic training. There was like 4 or 5 of them. They were going through the California National Guard. And guess what? They were Mexican nationals.
Yeah.
And they didn't speak English, so they had to have their own basic, to someone just to speak Spanish to them and train them in Spanish. And of course, learn English.
Yeah, learn English on the way.
they were going, you served. I mean, there are many veterans, that which I think is bullshit. That's what I think is bullshit. Someone who served this country and who's a veteran, if he's an immigrant, he gets to stay.
Yeah.
Automatically, he gets to stay.
Fuck yeah.
So
my feelings. I always think veterans get privilege over everything.
So, but anything other than that, I mean, it's like, okay, if you overstay your visa, guess what? You gotta go. You can't just overstay your visa and just hope that they don't catch you.
He wasn't hoping that they didn't catch him. That's what I'm saying. He was trying to do everything.
Okay, he was doing the right thing. Well, then
and then all of a sudden they just stopped allowing them. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like there's nothing.
But back to my point. Okay, is that you've got these felons. That are like, I'm talking about like 5-time, 6-time felons that they spend they do their little time in county jail. They get bounced out. And guess what? They're back out on the street to do the same thing. Yeah. Some of these guys I met some of these guys. Some of them can drink a lot. And they don't know when to say, oh, okay, maybe I shouldn't drink. Man, get it in their thick head. Maybe I shouldn't drink and get drunk and smack my wife around. You know? Or maybe I shouldn't drive a car and then run over a little old lady.
Yeah, but you're talking about minor percentages.
Yes, I know what we're talking about, but still, those are the people that were supposed
They should be taken out. Yeah, they should be taken out.
So you agree with that? So you agree with that law?
I do agree. No, here's the thing here's what I believe. I believe that the system for that whole thing is completely fucked up.
Yeah, it needs to be revamped. I agree with you. It needs
to be revamped and it needs to be humanized. You know what I mean? To the point where you let people that are experienced in this type of shit judge that shit. All these types of things should go before a judge. You know what I mean? And now in the obvious cases of a dude fucking murdering somebody, you know what I mean? You end up in this catch-22 situation, okay? If you deport him, then it's easier for him to come back over here than it is if we just lock him up in our prison. But then we're paying,
of course, yeah,
for a foreigner to stay in our prison. So I think that Mexico needs to be punished for something like that. Whereas if they're not keeping their borders on lock, or we can't extradite prisoners and expect them to stay in fucking jail when we put them there, like fucking what's his name, El Chapo?
Right.
If they're just going to be able to dig tunnels or fucking walk out the jail, there's no point in us sending them over there. They're just going to walk right back over the border and fuck with us again.
Right.
So I believe that at that point, if we're housing their criminals here, they should be paying for that housing. You know what I mean? Like, fair enough, right? Like,
they should subsidize or they should pay us back for the money that we had spent on them.
Because we don't need to deport them. I mean, that cost us money, cost us trouble, cost them money, cost them trouble, waste everybody's time and effort. They're just going to come back anyway. It's going to be easy. I say just keep them here, lock them up in our fucking jails that are locked the fuck down and nobody gets out of. When the last time you heard anyone escaping a jail? in any fucking city or anything like that, people don't escape jails out here. But
the immigration, I know that's kind of like a hot topic. But let's not forget about other because I remember this, and this is just something I want to just throw out there. I used to work for German freight companies. I used to work for German freight companies, and these were real people, like people that worked for the freight companies and their families and everything like that. I've seen Germans. I saw this German lady literally cry because of the fact that they were having immigration problems. And they literally spent tens of thousands of dollars in legal fees and attorney fees trying to get to become a legal resident in this country. So it's not just the Mexicans, okay? No. It's not just the Central Americans. You even got Europeans. No. You still got Europeans that are having straight up Germans.
No question.
And I don't care what anybody thinks. I was stationed in Germany for 2 years. Germans are very, very nice people. Very nice, and they don't deserve to be in Europe. Most Europeans I met, they're, except the French. I don't like the French that much. But a lot of the Europeans are very, very nice people, and they follow the regulations and the rules and the laws as best they can. They come here on a legal visa, and they're trying to get legal residency because they work here. And all of a sudden, they have kids here, and now all of a sudden their immigration status is up to question, and they're just like it's heartbreaking to watch them go through this kind of thing. And I'm like going, wow, that's. And she goes, we've spent $15,000 of our savings in legal fees.
Oh yeah,
to try to and it doesn't work.
The lawyers just take advantage of them.
Yeah, of course. And for those shyster lawyers, man, if I ever catch one of you motherfuckers, I'll kick your ass. But you know what? I'm just saying, it's just, you're right. And I do agree on this, is that our immigration laws and policies need to be relooked at and revamped. But if you break the law and you're killing people in our country, I think you need to go. No, locked up and get the.
I don't think anybody disagrees with that. Even the illegal immigrants that are here just chilling are like, "Yo, fucking don't."
But I don't think that calling it a sanctuary city, because I'll tell you, you know where sanctuary came from. Sanctuary, you know where that came from. Right?
Yeah.
It came from the 13th century. That if you were being persecuted for any reason for your religion, you could go into any Catholic church and cry sanctuary, and they cannot kick you out. Yeah. They hold you. That's not what this is. You can't just cross the border, come into the city, cry sanctuary, and just say, "Oh no, this is not the 13th century."
I can even agree with that, but I still disagree with what they're doing. I disagree with taking away money from the cities in order to punish them.
Well, there's got to be consequences. That's all it is. There's got to be consequences. All they're asking for is a little cooperation on the felons. That's all they're asking for. Turn over the felons. Okay, well, you've heard of people, I've heard of people breaking out of local jails, county jails, but when have the last time you heard of anybody busting out of a federal penitentiary?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about when I mentioned jails.
A federal penitentiary like Pelican Bay.
Yeah.
No, it hasn't been. Happen. So, turn them over, send them to federal prison, and let them do their time there, and then they can be sent back or whatever, let the feds deal with it. And then the federal government will break you off some money, man. Hey, there you go. Thanks for the help out for getting this El Chapo gentleman. That means that El Chapo himself, if he wanted to, he could have crossed the border illegally, the head of the most notorious drug cartel in Mexico, and come to Los Angeles, and he could just cry sanctuary, and then they wouldn't turn him over to the feds.
That's total bullshit.
But in the sense, it's the same thing.
No, that's total bullshit, man, because they come after the fucking Mexican mafia, they come after the Armenian mafia, they come after all these fucking people, these gangsters and all this shit. The feds come after them. Nobody's stopping the feds from doing their fucking job here. This is why it's so stupid. It's retarded to even be having this conversation for the government to be having this conversation, because they understand this on a level that nobody else does. And there's a point where it's like, dude, the feds are obviously working, because you see them attacking weed shops, you see them taking down drug dealers, you see them taking down everybody. So nobody's fucking crying sanctuary, because they're still coming in here and taking them. It doesn't matter. This guy, this dude that they're taking now in jail, the pastor, he's not crying sanctuary and they're getting released. This is my point. Like, it's dumb to have this to try and punish them when you're already being effective. You're just asking them to waste more time. You're just asking them to waste more time on people that probably ain't doing shit. You're not trusting the judgment of the local police. The local police are saying, you know what, it's better to let this guy go, because if we spend our time prosecuting this guy, he's not going to lead us to bigger people or whatever. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, there's a lot of intricacies that go into law enforcement that you and a lot of people don't really understand. But from what I've been reading, that seems to be their main reason. They're like, look, we want people to be able to come to us and say, hey, this guy is doing this, that, and the other thing, and not have to worry about us literally having to snitch on them, like risking our job if we don't snitch. Like, if somebody comes up to a cop and tells them in Spanish that they think this guy over here is selling drugs, he has to say, hey, are you legal?
No, I'm not talking about that.
But that's what they're saying. This is what Sessions is trying to push. This is why they're
no. Maybe, I don't know if you're reading the same article as I am. For what I understand, the way the law is supposed to be is like, all they want is that, okay, if you got somebody, like say you caught some guy who was who went and went on a shooting spree, some shit like that. I don't know. It was the gang members. You know how they do their drive-bys, and they catch a gentleman. Okay, he goes for attempted murder. It's like what, 10 years or some shit like that. Okay, he gets his 10, right? He gets out on good behavior and parole or some shit like that. That's state law. Okay, state law. Okay, so now we find out that his immigration status is that he's here illegally. He's been deported 5 times already, and he's already been back into this country 5 times. And they see that there's this documented, it's recorded that this guy has been kicked out of the country 5 times and he's made it back in. Now, he's done his time. All the federal government is asking for is like, give us 48 hours notice to let us know that you're going to release this guy so we can come and pick him up, and then we can take care of the federal charges on this guy, and then we can deport him.
That's what they do. If it's that big of a deal, that's what they do.
They're saying no.
No.
We don't want to do that.
No, what they're saying no to is the small shit. They don't want to bother with the small shit.
Who gives a shit about the small
That's
fish?
what I'm saying. Me and you aren't disagreeing. It's just a misunderstanding of what the point, what this thing is, what they're looking to enforce. Because when it comes to big shit, 99% of the time they do go to the feds, especially if they're breaking a federal law. What the fuck? They already have them in jail. You think they want to just let him go? No. And then that becomes the whole point of our contention. Do we let this guy go back because he's been back here 5 times, or do we make him serve his time here? What is the point? Where does the law stand on that? Is it, does it sit here in federal jail? Like you said, let's say he does all the state time. Let's say he shot 10 people and also broke 5 traffic laws. So he sits in county jail for 6 months while he does his traffic tickets. Right. And then he gets out, and now he has to do his federal time. And he goes to court and all that shit, and he gets indicted and he gets charged. Now, is he going to sit in federal jail, or is he going to get deported? Because he's already been deported 5 times. So why would you want to deport him again if he's just going to come right back and do it?
Right. Well, that makes no sense.
But that's what they want to do. Like, why? If the point isn't that they can't levy charges against these people, because once they have somebody in their hands, believe me, they don't let them the fuck go, because that's money. That's money. You know what I mean? That's money in their pocket. So they want to hold as many people as they can. So they're not trying to let these guys go. If they can keep them in county, and then they can send them to federal, and then they can send them back to county, they don't care. They'll do that. I think that's one of the reasons why they want these people not to be, not to be deported. They'd rather just keep them in county jails, because it keeps us, paying out them dollars to the fucking private jail system.
You lost me.
Yeah, there's a whole fucking crazy private, the jail system's a whole fucking mess.
It's privatized now? It's like a corporation?
Been.
Oh, so it's not like county jail.
No. There's a massive, the prisons make money. They make a lot of money for the people that run them.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's another story.
Yeah, I can go into the whole fucking prison system on another.
Right, but okay, so let's just agree to disagree, okay? I mean, we're misunderstanding on some things, but I just think that these states, because I think they're just being like little crybabies. I think that's what they are. The states are just being little crybabies because they don't want the federal government, Trump, trying to tell them what to do, because especially what do they call it, a liberal state like California and a liberal state like Chicago, a liberal state like Illinois, and they don't want to be told what to do because they don't like Trump. Okay, but I'll tell you right now, if Obama was doing the same, they probably wouldn't have a problem.
No, I don't think I think it would still be a problem. It's not about that. It's about the logistics of it and just the annoyance of it. That's what I've been understanding.
I haven't heard anybody talking about the cost. I've not heard anybody talking about cost of it.
There's a big
48 hours. How much that 48 hours is going to cost taxpayers? I've not even heard a dollar amount. So
it costs a lot. And
I'm
not
sure it
just
does.
that, but it also overcrowds. It overcrowds our already overcrowded fucking system.
Yes. Yeah.
But our system is overcrowded with a lot of people that have no reason to be in that.
Well, that's why they got the South Siders and they got the West Siders and the South and the East Siders. You know what I'm saying? Orale pues. You know
but again, that's the whole prison. We should do a whole thing on the prison fucking
I don't know
industrial complex.
But I did my rant and
and we ate up like all the time.
Okay, there we go.
Okay, so all I have to fucking talk about is these stupid microchips. You heard about this, right?
I'm all for it, man.
These stupid assholes.
I dig it. I think it's great.
These guys are stupid as shit, man. Like, okay. So, let me explain to you why this is fundamentally one of the dumbest things I've fucking seen, regardless of what Europe is doing. All right, go ahead. Everybody in America is always like, oh, the Europeans are doing it. We should do it too.
Yeah, the French are doing it, man. Whatever the French does, we want to do it.
The only thing I agree with that on is the bidet. I think we should all have bidets.
Oh, I love the bidet.
I don't know why we wipe our own ass. That's disgusting as fuck. But anyway, yeah, so they microchip these employees in order to access computers, doors, basic security systems, vending machines, things like that, right? Most of the employees got it. A few opted out. I'm not really, I don't care about the microchipping part. Like, it's not going to hurt you or anything. The problem is in the bad security. That's an epic security fail. Now, they say the fucking thing is encrypted, right? Of course it's encrypted. Obviously it's encrypted. But in order to communicate with said computer, door, or fucking vending machine, whatever it might be, it has to have some kind of decryption software. It has to be able to be decrypted, obviously.
Right.
So that means that somebody can figure out how this software works. Somebody can write software that can decrypt it, and somebody can then embed that into something like a door frame. And very small and very easily have it be sent, to their, to wherever, wirelessly or stored on a small device. I even was thinking about a way that you could reverse it by planting a chip in yours that reads people's chips and then sends the data to your phone or something like that. Like, there's so many ways of hacking an always on device that's implanted in you that you have no choice. You can't turn on, you can't turn off, you can't wave your hand around and turn it off.
Oh, okay.
You can't
pull the plug on it or something.
Yeah, that's massively a problem. The second that you can't pull the plug on something, it's a problem with security. Now, I'm not saying that it's 100% bad. If you want to open doors, yeah, who the fuck cares? But when you're getting into like higher levels of security and things like that, you should just be using biometrics, fingerprint scans, eye scans, things like that. Those are way more secure. And even those are hackable. Everything is fucking hackable at the end of the day.
I read a science fiction book about that one time. I don't know if you want me. I mean, it was just
Go ahead.
it was kind of like a weird story, but it was a way for everybody to access the internet. You access the internet. It was a way that they it's not a microchip. It was something that you implanted in your head, and you could access. And everybody was like doing everybody was like just like, like talking on the phone, like talking to themselves, and they could see like through their eyes, like from the I guess in their mind they could see the internet. All you had to do was access information. Say, okay, I need to know how to get here, and like you would do with Google Maps. And it would give you directions, and you would know how to get there. And before you knew it, everybody started getting this. Yeah. Everybody in the world. And then what happened was there was like some sort of like at the end of according to the story, it was like this guy basically figured out a way to get rid of all the riffraff in the world and start over again, like with the top tier people.
Yeah.
The top 1%.
Yeah.
And wipe out everybody else in the world. And he made it so cheap and so accessible that anybody.
So it was like what's it called? Oh man.
It was like a kill switch, basically.
No, Kingsman. Remember the Kingsman movie? That was basically a plot of fucking Kingsman.
About the phone. It was the phone, but everybody got free phone service. But this was a little bit more.
Yeah,
different.
This was like implanted.
Implanted in your head.
Man, they probably stole that idea.
Probably, but it was an old science fiction book, and it was. And I saw it and I go, okay, note to self: don't get any implants. Period. Because how do you know that's not going to be some one day? The switch is going to be, and everybody's just going to drop dead.
Because here's the thing that the genius people eventually figure out when they get off their ass about code and all that stuff and start looking at the real world. Mm-hmm. And the point of evolution is diversity. Diversity is the strength. You see, this is a thing that I have a problem with. I could rant about this. I have a problem with people always saying in evolution that it's survival of the fittest, and they think that means the biggest or strongest or toughest, right? Like, okay, let's take the most, like, what's it called? Scary animal you can imagine being hunted by as a human on Earth. Let's take like a lion, right?
Okay.
Like, you'd be terrified if a pack of lions was trying to chase you down.
Oh, yeah.
Now, let's take the same thing in the ocean. Let's take like a fucking whale shark, You'd be terrified if a big-ass whale shark was trying to get you in the ocean. Now, let's flip them. Let's put that fucking pack of lions in the ocean, and let's put that whale shark in the fucking Sahara, and let's see who's the fittest.
They both would die.
That's my point. It's not the survival of like the biggest and strongest and toughest. It's the survival of the most fit. We're
the most adaptable.
We're surviving as humans because we're most adaptable and we're the most fit for this situation.
Right.
See, we built this whole thing around us. We adapted. We changed the world around us in order to
change our environment. Yeah.
Exactly. We changed our own environment. And eventually, if you were to get implants, you would realize that, okay, I can't make everybody the same. People have to have different operating systems.
Right.
Eventually, if it was up to me and I was making these chips, I would make everybody with their own unique identifier. that is pretty much unknowable. There's ways to do unknowable numbers. We'd have to get into like quantum computing before we get to that point, but we can do unknowable infinities and stuff like that and still have access to it. There's ways, and I'm sure that there'll be more breakthroughs and, like I said, quantum computing and beyond that, that'll allow us to do things like make completely secure devices, but each one has to be unique. You get what I mean?
Right.
Because then that avoids that whole situation. The 1% can't just hit a kill switch and kill everybody's device. There'll be no way of doing that.
Mhm.
Everybody's device will be uniquely coded to their body. The same way you can't just make a virus that would kill everybody on the planet right now. There'd be no way to distribute it to that degree. Do you get what I mean?
Right.
Even if, there'd be fucking no way. There's no way. There's no fucking way.
Well, I don't know if you ever seen that movie. What was that movie called?
Contagion or
Contagion.
something.
Man, that movie freaked me the hell
That
out, man.
movie's full of
1/3 of the
shit.
population, man, gone.
Oh, things like that. I believe stuff like that
Pandemics?
can happen.
Yeah, pandemic.
Have you heard about that CRISPR thing? It's
CRISPR.
CRSPR, I think it's how CRISPR, something like that. Anyways, how do I describe it? I don't fully understand it, but I get it. I just don't know the terminology. But it's like some kind of gene that they've isolated, and they're able to manipulate it into doing basically anything. So they can now like custom make shit, basically. Like this is a way to cure basically all diseases, to stop
Okay.
any kind of problems, mutation, cure blindness, cure deafness, cure
Make basically
pretty much
the
everything.
perfect human.
Yeah, but the thing is that it can be like the way that they
So they
explain
can
it.
make a white guy that could play basketball and jump. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
The way they explain it is like you get this blank cell, you program it. This
Mhm.
blank cell is then programmed to listen for signals from this other cell and then act upon those signals depending on what it's programmed to do. So say for example you make a cell that cuts out and eats cancer. So this cell now is programmed to look only for cancer cells, just find them and then eat them in people's system. And that's possible with this CRISPR thing. It's like I said, it's been a while because I read about it a long time ago, but I don't really remember exactly the details of everything. But basically, they found like it, but it also works in reverse, which means that it can create a disease that can kill fucking everybody.
Wow. Okay, so it's dangerous.
So it's fucking terrifying at the same rate that it's also very, very awesome. Luckily, most of the people working on it are, chill people. And hopefully there's no world wars that spur them into having to do it or
To weaponize
watch
it?
their family get murdered, because most people are going to just, kill the rest of the world anyway. So, yeah, I mean, like, it's a weird fucking world. And I think it's weird because when you go to like these levels of science, like I tend to read a lot about this type of stuff and just like really advanced science and mathematics and stuff like quantum computing, AI and shit like that. And then you go down to like my favorite thing going on Twitter, just reading fucking people that support Trump or people that just support stupid shit like flat earth or stuff like that, or people that support like weird dumb theories. It's just, it's just weird to go from that. Like, humankind can go from, like, high conceptual fucking quantum computers all the way down to the level of thinking that, like, a pizza store was a front for child molestation that was headed by the DNC.
You want to find the low end of that spectrum? Listen to Chuck Lorre in the middle of the night, and you'll see what kind of people
my
be coming up on
goodness.
there.
It's, it's fucking madness to me. Like, that's the thing that really trips me out, like just the depths of humanity, like the depths and the heights. It's crazy. It makes you think maybe it wouldn't be so bad if that 1% got rid of the rest of us.
I mean, I tell you, there'd be less traffic. I'm telling you, the 405 would be running so smooth right now. We just got rid of just the dumbasses that just want to. Yeah, I mean, I'm just ranting now. I'm not ranting about stupid shit, but I'm telling you. I mean, at all hours of the day, the 405 is jam packed for some reason, and I don't even know why. But it's because why? It's because people are having just way too many goddamn kids. I think so. I mean, they're just way too many kids, and it's just like, and the population just
Yeah.
keeps growing and growing and growing, and then before you know it, those kids are getting licenses,
Oh,
and then guess what? You got everybody driving, and it's like, oh my god, man! It's like, oh geez, I'm just like,
I got something to say, and I want to apologize in advance to Veronica if she's listening,
Okay.
because I'm going to say something that might upset her. But no, I believe only in replacing you and your wife. Like just replace the both of you, and that's pretty much it. If humans just did that, we'd be at a set amount of people. We'd be all right. We'd be all right.
If the amount of people that are passing away are being replaced by newborns, hey, that's perfect.
That's my point.
You're
not
keeping
only
a nice balance.
Yeah, and then you have people live longer, so yeah, you'll have a few more people, but you'll have a better balance. You know what I mean? You have just a better balance with sickness and everything. That's going to take off some random child deaths, cancer, all that stuff is going to kill people at a young age. So you want to have a couple to make up for all those accidental deaths for the ones that live long. Anyway, that's my belief. It's just like 2 kids and that's it. But when I go to church with her in this Catholic thing. They have this thing on the wall that I look at every time, and every time I just go ugh, because it says what? How does it say it? I can't remember exactly. Mother Mary, please help us end Planned Parenthood. Something to that effect. You know what I mean? Like something to the effect of a prayer to Mother Mary asking to end Planned Parenthood. Like Planned Parenthood does a lot of good, man. Like they stop STDs. They do a lot of good. They don't just do abortions, They don't just fucking murder babies. And then on top of that, like I don't understand people that have like 4 or 5 fucking kids, and on top of that, they don't fucking take care of them. And in Los Angeles, right? You're considered below regular income if you're more than 2 people and you make less than $100,000. Like you should be making at least $100,000 to be considered what's like normal for the rest of the country to make 4 times whatever your rent is and your bills and all that stuff. And you have people here that there's 2 people working. They got 4 or 5 kids. They're pawning off to some parent or sibling or somebody else to take care of. And at the end of the day, these kids are growing up into a public school system that's too
don't teach
crowded.
them squat.
It's too crowded, and then it's ignoring them. And the whole time they just feel ignored, disenfranchised, and then they run into these groups and they get involved in these things like
victims.
And then they get into these things like gangs and stuff like that. Or nowadays
is they're taught to be victims.
They're taught to be victims, or they go on like Instagram and all that stuff, and they try to become superstars. Which I'm a fan of that. I believe that teenagers and stuff should be putting themselves out there like that. Like just put yourself out there. It's amazing to me that at like 16, 17, 18, 19, even 20, that people are willing to like just vlog their whole life. Like, hey, this is what I'm doing today. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. And people are paying them for it. That's cool. Like if that's good for your yourself, your self-esteem. It's like going up to an open mic night or something. It helps build confidence. I believe everybody should get booed at least once in their life. I've been booed at a couple times in my life. I believe, I firmly believe that. You should be booed by a crowd at least once in your life.
Hey, I've been booed on more than one occasion, so I'll be like, what? I'm sounding like Lil Jon. What?
So, like it's because when I was in my band, we got booed. We got booed off a stage once.
It's very humbling, isn't it?
Yeah, but it teaches you how important your fucking ego is. Because if you want to be successful, you have to have a fucking ego. All this bullshit that they teach you about the nice people, and if you have a good heart and you just take care of people, I just
worked with a 19-year-old. Today was her last day, by the way. Hi, Leanne, if you're listening to this. But yeah, I mean, what they're teaching these youngsters nowadays is like, just be nice, don't offend nobody, and everything like that. And I go, but that's what they're teaching everybody.
Did you hear what happened to the guy at Google?
No,
this guy at Google, he wrote some memo to Google, like an internal memo. He just basically reamed women, like saying that they weren't as good as men at coding because they had genetic disabilities. Basically, that's what he was saying. Not in those words, but he was saying like because they're too emotional, we should put them in teams that do this, that, and the other thing. And he was just being like beyond sexist about this shit. But at the same time, he was calm and rational in his explanation, and people freaked out. Like obviously,
They get all emotional.
One person, I was watching the Philip DeFranco thing, and he was going over this, and one person said, "Fucking," she was all like, "Oh, if I had been working there, I would have just went over to his desk and started beating his ass. Like it would have been worth the charge to just beat his ass or something like that." I'm like, he just calmly expressed his opinion. I don't agree with it. I think it's a dickhead opinion, but it's his opinion. What you can't disagree.
But to the new generation, that's considered hate speech.
But why would you just go hit somebody over that?
What they call it hate speech.
That's stupid. You don't know how to speak. You don't know how to defend yourself verbally.
No, there's no debate. Debating.
To regress into violence immediately after being offended is literally the most ignorant thing you can do as a human being. It shows a person's intelligence. It does. And not only that, it shows their experience. It shows what they've been through in life. You and I, even though we've had different experiences in life, anytime that we've had to fight, it's been for a good fucking reason. A serious fucking reason.
The last resort.
It's not because we got pissed off because somebody made fun of us. We just make fun of them back. We'll just talk.
Obviously, they didn't grow up in New York where that was what they did. Your mama's so fat, that kind of deal.
That type of shit don't come to blows. Like, why are you fighting over this? Why does it get to that level? Do you get what I mean? Like, that's the thing that twists in my head. Like, how come there's people out there like that? It's not. Well, actually, it is a lot. There's a lot of fake violent people. They wouldn't do this shit. They wouldn't fucking do this. They wouldn't. There's no way in hell she would go and punch this guy while he's sitting at his desk. There's no fucking
Dude, you know how many stand-up comedians have to apologize for their material?
No, fuck that. They don't.
No, I'm serious. Do you know how many stand-up comedians have to apologize for some of the jokes and the materials? That these people are that the youngsters are so sensitive nowadays that they can become offended. And then they go, here's a good example. Jim Jeffries. I'm just using him as an example. I know we're running out of time, but I'll do this real quick. Good. Jim Jeffries, in the start of his stand-up, his Netflix special, he starts talking about Bill Cosby on how he likes to rape, and stuff like that. Okay, yeah. He doesn't use curse words in his comedy, and people love to see him because he's so wholesome, but yet, he rapes. He likes to rape people, but he made a joke about rape, and then all these women, he said he got all this hate mail, and it's saying that, well, you should not joke about rape. He's all like, why not? It's a joke. It's not. I'm not serious. I'm not condoning rape. I'm not saying that people should rape. I'm just saying that it's something that's a serious matter, but we can look back at ourselves and laugh about it. Yeah. But some people are so damn sensitive that they have to the stand-up comedian has to apologize for that. Yeah. And I don't think that they should.
No, that's retarded.
I think
that's retarded. I understand people getting triggered over certain things. My belief as far as trigger warnings should only be for people. I believe that you should have trigger warnings for those types of sensitive people. Like if you're a comedian, if you're a comedian at the beginning of your show, you should flat out just say, "Hey, look, I'm gonna make rape jokes. I'm gonna make tranny jokes. I'm gonna make midget jokes. I'm gonna say the word nigger. I'm gonna say the word bitch, and I'm gonna swear a lot. And if any of that shit offends you, you can get the fuck out right now because this is my show and this is how I do shit." You know what I mean? Yeah. Hey, fuck it, dude. Have your little disclaimer. Then nobody gets triggered. Nobody. You say, "Hey, I fucking told you. I told you. I gave you a trigger warning in the beginning. You have no right now. You sat through this shit, so shut the fuck up. Sit down and mind your goddamn business and enjoy the show or fuck off." Exactly. What's so hard about doing that? I'll go to any fucking open mic night. One of these days we'll go. We'll record it. I'll get up there and say the most fucking offensive shit just plain out and just mock people for making fun of me about it. Because it's stupid. If you're an entertainer, if you're a performer, you should never fucking apologize for trying to entertain and perform. Now, if you make a mistake while you're doing that and you take it too far or you do something that pisses people off, fuck them. Fuck them. If they come at you and say, "Oh, I'm pissed off because you said this," well, fuck you, man. This is how I interpret the world. This is my art. This is my way of expressing myself. I don't give a fuck if it offends you. I'm here to get money from the people that it doesn't offend because I don't want to work. I just want to make my art for a living, and I have people that want to support me to do that, So that's what I'm going to do. So fuck right off. It's like, that pisses me off so much. It pisses me off that they apologize. This is like, I wish George Carlin was still alive. He wouldn't apologize.
Oh, no.
I wish fucking, what's his name? dude, you know who I'm thinking about? Old black guy, best comedian.
Oh, Red Fox? Or
no, Red Fox, but also I'm thinking of the younger guy.
Oh, Richard Pryor.
Richard Pryor. He wouldn't.
Man, he was down.
He would get right
a
in
lot
your
of
face.
it. A lot of these comedians today were inspired by.
But you
Richard
do
Pryor.
have people like that today. Still, I mean, you do. There's comedians
Murphy.
out there
Eddie
that are
Murphy
just
was
like,
it.
fuck you.
Yeah.
And they just get up there and say their thing because you're gonna offend people, and if you're a person that gets offended, you're gonna get offended. I get offended by shit people say, but whatever.
Yeah, but you should have listened when I was talking. When I was driving in the morning, I drive in Leanne, and she was like going, "Oh well, I don't think it should be like that he should make Mexican jokes, or he should make like jokes about different racist stereotypes because we all laugh at that, And I'm like going, well, why? So you're saying that if a white guy can't say anything about like Mexicans, she said, right, but a white person could say stuff about white people. Is that what you're saying? Yeah, that's okay. And I cocked my head and I'm like going, okay.
No, man, people are people.
If you're not gay, then you can't talk about gay people.
Yeah, that goes to the relatability thing. Like they're always saying, why don't we have this person in this show, or why isn't this race represented?
Eddie Murphy's not gay. He did a big thing back in the day about gay people.
Yeah.
Like, hey Fred, how would you like to fuck me up the ass? Remember that one? Yeah. You know what, Mr. T? You know that one? Yeah. Hey, you fuck me on the ass. I like that kind of stuff. It's real funny. I thought it was funny.
Yeah,
but I didn't think anything bad about it. He goes, look. And Eddie Murphy said, look. I have nothing against gay people. I'll fuck with anybody. That's what he said. I'll make fun of anybody. And that's great. I love that.
That's my point. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, that's just stupid. Like, and like I said, it's the whole thing about the inclusion thing, too, that I hear a lot about. Like, oh, I need to see myself represented in TV or in this show or whatever it is, be it I'm black or I'm a woman or I'm a child or whatever the fuck you are. And being mixed race and having no religion or anything at all, I've never seen myself represented in anything, yet I felt represented in a lot of things. Like, okay, for example, my favorite superheroes growing up, the two people I loved the most were Batman and Iron Man because they didn't have any fucking superpowers. They were just smart as shit. Right. I was like, I can be smart. So I started, working on being smart. And it was, so to me, it's like, it's crazy how people fucking, they get so wrapped up in this whole culture thing and this whole, like, I need to be represented and they can't say this about them and they can't say that about that. And
I'm a victim and all
but
this
it's
shit,
not even about that, man. Again, I boil it down since we're pretty much wrapping it up here. The people are fucking people. I'm not going to stop repeating that until the day I die. People are people. I don't give a fuck what you are. And like Eddie Murphy and like, the guys, Trey Parker and Matt Stone that do all that shit that they do, making fun of everybody. Mormons with South Park, they make fun of every fucking buddy. And with
even
all this
Family
shit,
Guy.
yeah, with the people that get that type of shit, they understand that. They understand at a core level that people are people. And those are the type of people you want to be around. They give a fuck. You know what I mean? They're not going to judge you for anything. You know what I mean? Like if with just my name being, most people think because of my name that I'm Muslim right off the bat. If I meet like a Catholic person or something like that, or pretty much anybody nowadays, they're going to have like a certain kind of opinion about me right off the bat, and they're not going to treat me like a person. And that's why I always say, people are fucking people. Just fuck all that other shit because you don't know enough usually about the other person unless you've known them for years to make any real judgment calls about that person. So just treat people like people. If somebody wants to make a joke about fucking Mexicans and they're not Mexican, and who the fuck, why do you care? They're not even Mexican. What the fuck do you...
Yeah, why do they need your help defending them? That's another thing. It's like these SJWs, but that's another story.
Yeah, that's gonna be on forever if we go on that. Anyway, we'll wrap it up right there. Oh man, we're at an hour and 3 minutes. I'm fucking hungry. I'm gonna go get pizza after this.
I'm hungry too.
So so let's do the wrap up. You can find me online at KREAMYCHEESE on Twitter, and then @it_board is kind of our main thing. Again, I forgot what our fucking other Twitter handle is. Actually, let me look it up. But in the meantime, while I'm looking up, you can find our website is boredasit. That's BOREDASIT.com. And, there's articles and shit there that you can read. I don't run any ads, anything like that. You can just kind of...
Anybody want to email me? You can find me at Bronx1967@yahoo.com.
There you go. And then our Twitter handle. You
guys want to cuss me out?
Our Twitter handle.
I'll take all comers, man. I'll take all comers, man.
You can hit us up on Twitter too. I'll get it to them. Don't worry.
I don't do that tweety.
I'll get it to you. Don't worry. It's R&K, RANDK podcast. So yeah, hit us up at RNK podcast or at @it_board or at creamy cheese. Any of that shit. Go to boardisit.com because there's more. You can find me rambling. I do it constantly. So I'm uploading like 2 or 3
If you guys send me
a day.
If you guys send me really cool emails, I'll read it. I'll read it over on the podcast and I'll answer you personally myself.
Yes, we both will. Anything that you send us, we will personally answer because we have no lives and we are bored. Now we both work extremely long hours. So I hope you guys enjoy. We're going to try to do more. We're going to try to bring video. But yeah, peace out.
All right, Nate.